Greetings everyone, this is Joseph Spivey, and in this video we're just going to be looking at Moodle. You may be familiar with Moodle from other classes. If not, this is going to be a quick introduction. And I also want to say that I do things a little bit differently than other instructors, so I want to tell you about how my Moodle might be different from those of other classes you've seen. So this is what Moodle looks like. I've sort of logged in as a student, so my Moodle now looks like your Moodle. And I think the first thing that I want to call attention to is this is where I post everything about the class. Okay, so everything about this class, assignments, dates, everything should be posted here, right? So the first thing I want to tell you is about this upcoming events block over here in Moodle. So you'll see that every time I post an assignment, it's going to show up, the due date is going to show up over here. Okay. For some reason, it also shows up attendances, like I'm going to take attendance on Tuesday, the 4th of September, and I'm going to take attendance on Tuesday, September 11th, etc. You don't have to worry about those as much. I wish I could get rid of those, but unfortunately I can't. What you do need to pay attention to is the assignments. So for instance, here's an assignment. Here's the reading that's due September 6th, Thursday. Here's some homework that's due. It should be due the 6th of September. I'll fix that date later on. But you can click on it and find out exactly what you need to do. This is the way that I make homework assignments. I don't talk about it in class. I just post it in Moodle. It's your responsibility to check after every class period to see what the assignments are, what's due, when it's due, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's the most important thing that I think that you need to know about Moodle is I post all the assignments. The due dates show up over here. In fact, I've already got the test dates built into Moodle. So about a week or two in advance of a test, the due date's going to pop up over here to remind you that it's coming up. Okay. I also take attendance on Moodle. I like this because it allows it gives transparency to the process. So when I mark attendance, you can see exactly what you were marked as. So if I make an error, you can correct me. And so that's one of the reasons I use Moodle is for that transparency. So for instance, if you are late to class one day and I mark you absent and then I forget to go back and mark you as tardy, right? Then this will allow you to double check on me and let me know when I've made a mistake. And I encourage you to do so. So please let me know when there's a discrepancy between your records and what I have you down as, and we can work on that. Announcements is the way that I send out emails to everyone. You won't need to worry about that in Moodle. Here is a link to our syllabus. So we'll be looking at the syllabus and the course policies in some more detail in the next video, so stay tuned for that. Here's a link to the Wofford Honor Code. The Wofford Honor Code is important in this class as in all classes. So you'll be asked to pledge your name on tests and assignments to signify your adherence to the Wofford's Honor Code. So please take a look at that. If you don't know what's in there, you really ought to read it to make sure you understand exactly what is expected of you in all your classes. If you ever think that you'd like some extra assistance in this class, there's a link here to peer tutoring. So there's a way that you can, so at Wofford, there are students who are identified as understanding statistics very, very well and having done well in the past in that course. And you can sign up for a free peer tutor, and they can meet with you periodically, and it's all free. So if you would like to exercise that option, it's a great resource, a great opportunity. If you want some extra help, go ahead and click on that link and figure it out from there. It'll give you instructions on how to do that. Right? Let's see. The only other thing that I really want to talk about is WebAssign. So this class has an online homework system called WebAssign, and you have to establish a link. You have to make sure that you're in the right class in WebAssign. So let me explain that process. So basically, when you log on to Moodle here, you're going to click on this link, WebAssign. So you're not going to type in WebAssign into the web address up here. You're going to click on WebAssign here. Okay. If you start to type in WebAssign direct up here, you're going to run into errors later on. I've had lots of students who have to call WebAssign directly and talk to their customer support, and it's basically because they tried to type it into this address bar instead of clicking on this link. So when you click on this link, I'm going to click on it to show you sort of what it looks like. Mine, oh, that's lovely. So there's an error on their end. Well, I don't know what that means. You will ignore that for now. It's probably because it's the beginning of the semester and things are busy for them. Ignore that. I can't show you what it looks like now, unfortunately. Basically, the first time that you click on this link, it is going to establish a link between your WebAssign account, your homework account, and Moodle. Okay. Now you have two different options depending upon your history with WebAssign. If you have never used WebAssign before, you've never used a Cengage product before, you will be invited to create an account. And it will say, please create your account here. And you'll provide email address and login information and all that other stuff. On the other hand, you may have used a Cengage product before or used WebAssign before. If you have used WebAssign or Cengage before, you will be invited to log in using your login information that you should know. Okay, so those are sort of the two options. Either way, once you get in, your first week or 2 weeks or something like that is free. You do not have to pay for it for that period of time. It's called a grace period. Basically the idea is if you enroll in the class, you can use WebAssign for the first week, but if you decide to drop during that first week of Drop an Ad, you will not have to get a refund, right? Because you haven't paid for it yet. So I encourage you to make use of that grace period. Now, once that grace period ends, you will need to pay for WebAssign. And there are a lot of different options for how you do that. One way is if you went to our bookstore and you bought one of the WebAssign bundles, it's going to come with a little code that you type in. And you will do that here, right? It will give you instructions about where to type that code in. Okay. On the other hand, you can just have a credit card information and go directly to click on this WebAssign link, and it will say one payment option is to use your credit card. So you can certainly do that too. So whichever method you feel most comfortable with, use that method to pay for it. I would encourage you not to pay for it until the end of the grace period in case you decide to drop the class during the first week. Right? Only pay when you really need to pay. But at some point you will need to pay because you'll need to be able to do the homework. Now, I should talk about why this is an important system. I really like the WebAssign system because you can do homework and you get instant feedback. So you know right away whether your understanding is good, whether your answer is correct. And in fact, I usually give many attempts to get a right answer. Right? So you can have multiple attempts at getting a right answer on your homework. Generally, what I care about is that you eventually get it right. Right? Multiple choice questions. Generally, there is a penalty for guessing. Right. So if you get the answer wrong the first time, then there will be a decrease in your grade, and if you get it wrong the second time, there will be a decrease in your grade. That sort of thing to discourage guessing. But if it's a numerical type question, you get 100 tries. Right. So again, I just care that you eventually get the right answer. So I think WebAssign is great because, again, you can figure out whether you understand something or not instantly, and you still got an opportunity to come and ask me questions if you're having trouble with something. So I think that's a great system, and that's the reason that we use this in this class. If you have any questions setting up WebAssign, please talk to me. I can sometimes help you with that. The last thing that I want to show you about Moodle, you can sort of navigate Moodle. It's a pretty nice system. I've told you about the upcoming events block. Pay attention to that. I also organize it by date. So here is the first class period. Here are a couple of homework assignments. You'll probably see more pop up later on. But as more class, the next class period will go here, and the next class period will go here, etc. So that's sort of how I organize it. So you can sort of click on these little arrows to hide stuff if it gets to be a little bit too much. And I want to show you the grades. Let's see, we're in this one here. Definitely go ahead and click on grades. Right? And you'll see the grade book here. This is sort of the user report from me. Right now, your grade book will be empty because there are no grades yet. But every time that we get a grade, I'm going to go ahead and put that grade in the grade book, and you'll be able to tell what your grade is in the class at any time. So Moodle will automatically compute your total I think your total should appear over here, okay, as well as the letter grade associated with that total. This way, if I have made an error, you know what you know what your grade is at all times, and if I have made an error about something, you can let me know and we can resolve that. So I think that transparency is important. It allows you also to know how you're doing in the class at any time. I think that's a great feature of Moodle and one that I take advantage of. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the main site. I'm going to do that by clicking this little link up here. So right there I'm going to click, and it goes back to the main site. So I think that that's the main highlights of Moodle. In our next video, we'll be looking at the course policies for this course, and so I'll see you in just a moment.